Barry, can you discuss what happened in the first half, where it was a little off kilter, but the adjustments needed and made to have a good second half?
Yeah, I mean, you go back and watch the film, and in the first half, the biggest challenge we had in the first half was that I think that overall our average third down distance was almost 9 yards, and that we played right into their hands in that regard because we just didn't execute very well in the first half, and had some structural challenges and some of the things that a couple of things that were called, and so we just kind of hit the reset button at halftime. We were still fighting and scratching and clawing. I mean, I was really, I was hats off to Duke. I mean, I thought just their game plan and just their coaching staff and the way they played on defense, I thought I was impressed with that. And was going into the game, and then just played really hard. And I think the speed early on gave us a little bit of a challenge. But at the end of the day, at halftime, we just kind of reset and said, hey, let's get more vertical. Some of the things we're doing, the passing game didn't really need to be tweaked or whatnot, because we had guys open. We just had to shore up our protection. Our guys responded in the right way, and in the second half it kind of came to life, and that's why it's a 4-quarter game. You keep fighting and scratching. I've been on the other end of that, where you start hot and finish slow, and we need to be able to play 4 quarters. But really, we didn't take a magic pill and swallow it at halftime, and there's no such thing. We made a few little adjustments, but really our players, we executed better, and it kind of rose up to the challenge. It took advantage, and we're opportunistic.
I know you guys have talked a lot about Hank's consistency leading to this, but what has led to this breakout into one of your engines of your offense?
Yeah, well, I think it's just his time, and he's kind of quietly and just waited, being patient, and just gotten better in his craft, and he's got a lot of, our quarterbacks have a lot of confidence in him, and we're just kind of attacking the slot stuff, and he's doing a great job.
What was your assessment of the running game, first and second half?
I mean, that's pretty obvious, I mean, if you look at the numbers in the first half compared to what we did in the second half, I mean, you would say we're pleased with the first half and the way we finished the game. In particular, I thought we were in the ball, kind of hit our stride a little bit in the fourth quarter there, and was pleased with some of the things that I saw in the fourth quarter. And we had some runs in the first quarter that were pretty clean, but we can't be going backwards and taking sacks the way we were doing. That just destroys your rushing momentum, and they made you fight for everything that you were going to get. And watching the film, I mean, it was a day of ups and downs in the run game, starting with the way it was structured and called, and the execution was kind of spotty at times. But man, when we got them called good and we got them targeted right, and we rolled off the ball, we had some good success there in the fourth quarter.
What do you make of what you've seen from Khalil Valentine specifically throughout this first couple games? Yeah,
I've been impressed with Khalil, and good things happen when he's touched the ball. Just really since he's been here, he's a playmaker. He likes to play the game. He runs bigger than what he is, and he runs with authority. And I thought he made some plays the other day that really brought a lot of enthusiasm and energy to our team. And Khalil's really worked hard to fine tune his craft, and I think he's in a good spot.
One throw in particular I want to ask you about from the out route to Hank that also drew the 15-yard rushing, and that's kind of a difficult throw. Like, what him being able to make that, how big is that in his own development? And that's just a tough one, it looks like.
Yeah, it was one of the better plays I've seen him make since he's been with us here, and the thing I loved about it so much was, the trust that he had in the route, and man, he took his footwork, and his back foot hit the ground. He took one reset, and the ball came ripping out. And huge play in the game, huge play in the game.
How much does experience and maturity play into that? Being able to kind of brush off a little bit of a subpar first half and come back and play well in the second half. And specifically Luke's experience and maturity.
Yeah, I don't think he was flinching. I think and the team in general, on both sides of the ball and special teams, we do have a lot of experienced players that have experienced, fast starts, slow starts, road games, home games. That helps. Maturity helps certainly, and the belief in what we're doing was never wavered, and it never has since I've been here with the guys. Like we've had moments and we've sputtered, but we just at times, sometimes we haven't been able to fight through it, but a lot of times we fight through it and make a play. When you get in a rut, the only way that you get out of it is you just execute your way out. You just focus on your details, focus on the fundamentals of what you're doing, and then give yourself a chance to execute your way out of the rut. And I thought that's kind of what we did, after coming out of halftime.
Barry, just going through 2 games without a turnover and playing pretty clean, is that the product of having a veteran guys on offense and having a lot of guys come back, or is there something else to that?
Yeah, I don't know if I could really speak to that. I know it's something we emphasize, and we need to continue to take care of the ball. But I think certainly guys know the importance of the ball. When you have the ball in your hand, you have the fate of the organization in your hand, and you know, we take that really seriously, and we're going to continue to work hard on ball security.
Barry, can you share any details of what goes into that Hank direct snap play? And I don't know what you call it or anything like that, but any details you can share about how that all came together?
Yeah, I mean, Coach had just mentioned to me, we've had multiple conversations over the last year or whatever about just having an element of, some other guys, or another guy taking a snap back there, and Hank's kind of an obvious choice just a little bit because he's older and more mature, knows the offense. So yeah, it's just something we slid in there. We had we have some packages for him, and that was obviously a specific play. To be honest with you, really off of something that we had showed in the bowl game. We had tried to run a play similar to that in the bowl game, and it didn't quite develop as nicely as that one didn't go viral by any means, and then so we wanted to use that a little bit just because we knew that. I know when we study our opponents, we go back the year before and look at a lot of stuff that you might see or could see, and so they probably had seen that presentation before, and we wanted to, do something to counter off of it. And just, sometimes those things, they work the way you want them to work. Sometimes they don't, but they're obviously a lot more fun when they do work like that. Our guys did a great job executing it. It could have been more clean in that regard. It was fun for that to unveil. I think our guys enjoyed that.
What stands out to you about the Western Michigan defense? Are they similar to any other teams that you've
Yeah,
scouted?
it's a similar presentation to what we saw last week. You turn the film on, super impressed with the way they play. They have some, you can tell that they're super well coached and they believe in what they're doing, really buttoned up, and play really hard. And they really disrupted Michigan State in the first week in a lot of ways. Got a lot of TFLs, and Michigan State did a good job against them. I'm not minimizing that, but they did some good things against a opponent similar to us, as far as just a Big Ten opponent. And I was really impressed when I turned that film on, and just the way that they competed and played, and impressed with their scheme. And they've got some speed and athleticism on the edge that will be similar to what we saw last week.
Something Brett mentioned after Saturday's game was just that the more multiple you guys could be on offense in terms of just using lots of different players, like the better you thought that could be, made more challenging it could be for opposing defenses. How do you feel like this offense is set up to utilize maybe as many receivers, tight ends, running backs as possible?
Yeah, probably since I've been here, I wouldn't say probably, since I've been here, this is probably the most probably flexibility that we have within our groupings offensively. We have multiple different receivers that have already played and touched the ball, and different skill sets within that. Have some depth at tight ends that bring different skill sets, and running back as well. So always looking for ways to, to your point, just maximize our personnel. That's my job as a coordinator, is to take these guys that can help us win and find a spot for them to plug in and be able to contribute. And that looks different each week, and always kind of a moving target in that regard. But we had a lot of guys impacted the game last week. We're going to continue to play a lot of people in the skill positions.
Going back to the run game, what's the biggest thing you think to find a little more consistency there?
Well, I think it's really just about all 11 playing together, and that's a real elementary answer. But good things happen in football when 11 guys are all doing the right thing. And really, I would almost add a 12th man, and starting with me, like, okay, so if we're running the ball, and there was 2 times in the first half the other day that we called a run, that just really, when you look at the film, it's like one of those, I've talked about this with you all before, about it's one of those 4 or 5 a game, you're like, man, I really want that one back. And that one didn't quite unveil like I wanted it to. And so it starts with me. And then once we get a good clean play call in and a good look, it's like all 11 guys doing their job in unison. And when we do that, usually good things happen. And when we don't, but this is at football everywhere, at every level. When you don't, when you have a guy break down here or there, then it can be disruptive, whether it's the passing. Sometimes the passing game is not as easy to see those things, you know, because the ball can come out. But in the run game, man, if you're not buttoned up and tightened up and all guys working together in unison, it can cause some disruption. Listen, the game's hard enough as it is, playing against really good coaches, really good players, like we're seeing on our schedule, like we see this week. I mean, when you complicate it by, you know, not being super clean in your detail, or having a guy, you know, not see the right thing, then it can be disruptive. So it's if I had to put my finger on it, you know, last week or even the week before, and even since I've been here, it's usually a combination of all those, right? I mean, it's like, okay, a scheme challenge here, a guy breaking down here, and then you throw in, hey, a guy get beat, you know, I mean, a guy made a play, and that's football, that happens. But at the end of the day, no matter what has been or is the challenge there, we got to continue to work together and get as many guys as possible in every play doing exactly the right way.
Barry, to your answer on the being multiple and how that helps you, does that manifest itself in the red zone to where you guys are going 5 for 5 and 31 points in the red zone?
I don't know if it changes a whole lot down there as far as just the multiple people that you use, or we're just trying to get in, you know. Okay. And but yeah, some of that comes into play, you know. Like, I mean, obviously Cole Russ made a huge play the other day, and he hadn't been at the point of attack a lot, and whether it's a passing game, and like he's been waiting for his moment, and he took full advantage of that, and we're going to build off of that, you know. That's just the way it works. And when guys get an opportunity and they make plays, you know, that usually leads to more opportunities, and the more guys we have step up, the more guys we can use, the more multiple we are, and like, you know, I could keep going down that road if I wanted to, but it's good for our offense, you know, and it's good to see guys step up and take advantage of the opportunities.
Well, I think we were all eager to see what the receivers would do out of camp, and I know you're eager to see what you had there. What have you learned about them? What have they showed you?
So y'all didn't ask many questions about that in the spring and summer, so yeah. So we talked about it a lot, right? And rightfully so. And I think what you're probably seeing is a large part of what we saw during fall and spring. A different guy kind of stepping up each day, or playing multiple people, and there being trust there. And you know, listen, everybody that gets on that field earns the right to get out there. It's not given. And the guys we've been playing with, they've earned their right to get out there. And there's a few others that have not played as much that have earned the right to, you know, to be considered, or to be, you know, to help us, and you know, as we go into the game plan, to think, hey, we've got 5 or 6 guys that we can get in here and rotate around. You never know how you're going to need them, or you know, who you might need more of in a game. But you know, I thought our guys the other day, it was good to see Colin Dixon catch his first touchdown. You know, hopefully the first of many, and you know, J-Bo keeps showing up a little bit. Malik made some tough catches. You know, and Hudson made a huge play in the game. I mean, a huge. Our O-line did a great job executing that screen. I mean, it's 3rd and 17, I believe. It may have been more than that. And you know, your odds of getting that just statistically are pretty low, and we get it, and it leads to a score. And so Hudson continues to show, and he played pretty well in the game the other day. Played fast in the game. He's going to continue to show up. So, yeah, I was pleased. I've been pleased with the depth we have there, and our chemistry is getting better, and getting some things ironed out, and we need to continue to solidify that.
Kind of a two-parter.
One more after this.
Cold Russ. Was that play kind of what you had seen last year before he got hurt, and the film, just the ability to go high point the ball like that? And then secondly, was there any element of that, whether getting off the defender or the actual catch, that stood out to you the most on that touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, I'll answer the second part first. You know, the route detail in that moment against man coverage, you know, he had a nice little move to reset his defender and get vertical. And I mean, the throw was, I mean, that's teaching tape, to your point. It's teaching tape for the route, it's teaching tape for the throw and the location for a corner route on a tight end against a matchup that you would perceive that you think you can win with a bigger body. That didn't always happen, and man, it was like really, really nice. And so, to be honest with you, we'd seen Cole make some plays and do that, but in my opinion, it was the best play I've seen him make in practice or in games, and it was really impressive.
Good. Anything else? Thank you guys.
Thanks, Barry.